Every woman likes to think her man only has eyes for her. You've found a man you genuinely care about and think he cares for you in the same way, but have these niggling doubts. Dating can be full of so many unknowns as you get to know the person over time. At the end of the day, it's hard to know if his attention is solely on you or whether he's actually got someone else on the mind. If you've got a sneaking suspicion that he has someone else on his mind as he stares deeply into your eyes, then it's time to find out. Here are 7 disturbing signs he's thinking about another woman, even though he's dating you. Number 1, he's become distant. Once upon a time, your man used to tell you everything, from how his day went to even the smallest thoughts he had throughout it. You were his go-to person he shared it all with. Now, it's hard enough to get a simple hello out of him. Instead, whenever you're trying to talk with him, it's clear that his mind is far away, focused on something or someone else. Even when you pry and try to get him to open up the way he used to, it's all to no avail. Why? Because he's thinking about her now. He's wishing he could be with her and share all the little details with this other woman. You've been bumped down the list when it comes to important women in his life. Number 2, there's less physical affection. Physical affection is an important part of any relationship. And no, this doesn't just refer to sex. It's holding hands, snuggling up on the couch together to watch a movie, rubbing your leg while out at dinner, kissing you goodbye at the end of a date together, and of course, sex is another good indicator on top of these other signs. If you've suddenly noticed that the physical affection you once shared together is now lacking, then it can be a very strong sign he's lost interest in you. You can safely assume that his heart is no longer in the relationship. He's stepping away physically to sever that connection while his mind remains on someone else entirely. While he hasn't let you know, it's clear that he has someone else on his mind. Number 3, he brings up things you didn't do together. Out of all of the signs, this is definitely one of the most awkward ones. When the two of you are together, he brings up the time you went to putt together. The only thing is, there wasn't you. Oops. This one is hard to back out of. Sure, he might come up with an excuse about going there with his brother, but the fact is, it's clear he was there with another girl, and he's thinking of her while dating you. It's a harsh truth and not one that anyone wants to be put on the spot with. Call him out on it if you can in the moment. This guy definitely doesn't have you on his mind. Number 4, he's always on his phone. Is there anything worse than being out on a date with someone who won't get off his phone? It definitely makes you feel like you're not important when he can't even raise his eyes to look at you while he's talking. He might tell you he's busy with work, but let's be honest, if this were the case, he would excuse himself, sort the matter, and come back and be present with you. If he's buried in his phone every time he sees you, there's probably something more going on. Someone is distracting him from giving you his full attention, and it's highly likely that someone is a female. When you ask him about it, he'll probably deflect or appear a little standoffish. This is a guy trying to hide something from you. Next time you're out with your man and he won't get off his phone, confront him about it. His reaction will be the only answer you need. He's suddenly too busy to see you. When you first started dating, he had all the time in the world to meet up for dinner and spend quality time with you. Now, all of a sudden, his schedule is extremely busy and he seems to have no time for you. Naturally, you ask what he's doing, and he will offer a generic answer like hanging out with mates or spending time with his family. If this is the case, then he would need to be sure to free up some time to fit you in as well. In all likelihood, he has another woman on his mind and is spending his free time thinking about and meeting up with her instead. As heartbreaking as it can be to discover you aren't the number one in his life, if your man isn't making the time for you, then it's time to go. You deserve better. Number 6, he doesn't focus on the little things. When you start dating, there's a good chance your guy will want to shower you with love and affection in those early days. From showing up with a bunch of flowers or chocolates, to opening the door and pulling out your seat. It's these little things he does that let you know how much he cares and wants to make a good impression with you. If these suddenly disappear, then it could be a strong sign that he has something else on his mind. He's no longer focused on making you happy and setting a good impression. Another girl has likely stolen his attention. As a result, he's no longer fixated on making you happy. He has another woman on his mind. Number 7, he's become overprotective of his things. You've both always been very open in your relationship, when it comes to passwords to your accounts to browsing through each other's phones. If he suddenly changes and doesn't want you near his things, then you have the right to be suspicious. The only reason for this sudden change would be if he has something to hide from you. It's a clear sign that the trust is gone from the relationship, and he doesn't want to be as open with you as you once thought. This one is nice and easy to test out. Simply ask him out of the blue if you can use his phone. If he's hiding something, then he will look uncomfortable and probably spend a few minutes trying to delete anything he doesn't want you to see. It's safe to say he's thinking about someone else, and trying to hide them from you as well. You could even straight out ask him why he's changed his passwords and see what kind of response you get from him. He's definitely acting suspicious for a reason, and it's something you want to get to the bottom of. So if he is thinking about another woman, what can you do about it? This is the number one strategy you can use. If you've concluded that this guy might be losing interest in you, and you know that you've definitely still got feelings for him, then you need a game plan for how you're going to end up happily ever after. To do this, you need to trigger something deep inside him, something he desperately needs. What is it? For him to take action and commit to you, then he has to feel like your provider and protector and to be appreciated for his efforts. In other words, he needs to feel like your hero. This is called the hero instinct. It's a new concept in relationship psychology. I know, it sounds kind of silly. You're an independent woman, you don't need a hero in your life. And I couldn't agree more. But here's the ironic truth. Men do still need to feel like a hero, because it's built into their DNA to seek out relationships that allow them to feel like a protector. And the kicker? A man won't fully commit to a woman when this thirst isn't satisfied. Now, I'd imagine that if you're currently dating him, then you might be already triggering some of these instincts in him. After all, that is probably one of the reasons he is already attracted to you. But there is a lot more you can do to bring out this very natural male instinct. In fact, there are phrases you can say, texts you can send, and little requests you can use to trigger this instinct in him. To learn exactly what these are, watch the excellent free video from the relationship expert James Bauer that I've shared in the description below. Top tip: if you can trigger this instinct successfully, it will drastically increase the odds that he will fall in love with you and fully commit. In fact, it could be the missing ingredient to go from something casual to a committed relationship. When a man genuinely feels like your hero, he'll become more loving, attentive, and interested in being with you over the long haul. That's why I recommend watching the free online video that I've linked to in the description below, where you can learn more about the hero instinct and how to trigger it in your guy.